Welcome to the network. Welcome to the Two Dads edition.
Wait, that's not it.
Start again.
Two Dads, Gen X edition. That's a great beginning.
Hey, welcome to Two Dads Gen X edition. I am Dawson.
And I am James.
And we would like to invite you to join us on YouTube to see our beautiful faces, because now you can.
Sure. We'll go with that.
I'm a solid 4. He's a solid 2. Turn the lights off. We're a solid 10.
Oh, yeah. 5 and 5 is 10, right?
Let's Two Dads this stuff.
But let's
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's introduce our guest. This is David Martin. And you own what? M&M Graphics, right?
My wife and I own a company called M&M Graphics. And prior to starting the company that we own, in the late 70s, early 80s, I was part of an age of individuals that went from writing on paper and notes with the pens to the first computers that there was a Radio Shack TRS-80 that you connect little cables.
Yep.
And I happened to be at the right place at the right time with a gentleman that knew how to take a teletype, which was like a typewriter,
Right.
and connect it to a computer so that it would do a recorded tape, repeat instructions to a machine tool, so that the machine tool would do its operation without a human being running the tool.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my introduction to the beginning of what was called data processing, and kind of a funny lead into what I had to do with M&M Graphics was I was married. I had 4 children. I was the F&I manager for Frank Ancona's Honda dealership in Kansas City. I probably had more bills than I had money. And my wife said, "You need to find a part-time job because we have Christmas presents to buy."
Yeah.
And so I went to a friend and I said, are you hiring where you work? He said, "Well, they're hiring at night." So I thought I was hiring to work. I thought I was being hired to go to work for American Stair Glide, that is the company that made stairway lifts for people who can't climb stairs.
Right.
They
Right.
found out about my past experience and they said, "Well, could you just enter our bills of material into the computer?" And I said, "Well, can I write on paper?" And so so I did that for them.
Yes.
And I went from being the night guy to being taken to the day shift, and then being promoted to the data processing coordinator when they brought in their own in-house computer. And it was my job to take them from IBM Selectric typewriters, which was the mode of operation for business that day,
Yeah.
to having their first integrated in-house computer system. And I didn't write the code, but I was responsible for keeping all the operations up and running. So I probably worked 40 to 60 hours a week. Wasn't home much, Night shift was I backed up the computer after 11 years of having a 2-week vacation that my boss wouldn't let me take because he was my backup. And he didn't want to.
He didn't want to have to do it.
He didn't want to do my job. I walked in one day and I said, "I need
Sounds
to
like
start
managers.
taking my 2-week vacations, and that means I'm turning in my resignation."
Yeah. So I'm
So
taking all the 2 weeks now.
And so I turned in my keys, and he gave them back to me. And he said, "Well, I'd like for you to be a consultant for a year while you start your own business." And so I went out and I thought, what do I do to pay my bills? I have 5 children now, and I get monthly bills. And what am I going to do to make what I was making as a data processing coordinator? And my oldest son was taking a screen printing class in high school. And he said, "Well, Dad, let's screen print T-shirts. We can make money."
Yeah.
So the guy that I was working next to had put himself through college as a graphic artist, screen printing T-shirts and drinking beer and eating pizza on weekends, all out of the same oven that they cure the ink on the shirts with. And I said, "Well, sell me what did you do with the shop?" He said, "I stored it when I graduated." He said, "I'll sell it to you." So I bought the clothes shop, enlisted my wife and my son to start in business, and I thought maybe I should go find out how to do this.
Right.
So I went to a company called
Start the business
Seracol.
first, figure it out later.
Yeah. So I went to a company called Seracol that makes the inks that we were buying, and I thought I should find out the mechanics. So I sat in the back of the class because you probably can't tell that I'm over 80, but I was the old guy in the class.
You weren't over 80 then.
I wasn't over 80 then. I'm over 80 today. That was 36 years ago. And I sat in the back of the class, and the instructor says, okay, let's find out who knows what in the class. And he says, what are the 3 primary colors? And I hold up my hand. I think, oh, I know this. It's like, it's red, white, and blue. And the whole class looked at me and goes, send him out the door. He doesn't even know what colors are. But we started from there, and we built a business that we've operated for 36 years, decorating clothing, embroidery and screen printing on clothing. We focus a whole lot now on selling labels and decals to the manufacturing industry, the industries that make the stairway lifts for people who can't climb stairs.
Gotcha.
And about 8 years into the business, I realized I was 10 years older than my wife, and that she needed a good life insurance policy. So over the kitchen table, I said to her, how would you like to be the new president of the company? Not like you need to buy in to be,
right.
I'm just going to gift you being the CEO. Well, she got 51% of the company, and she took on the responsibility of telling me what to do.
Full circle.
And it has been a fun ride for 36 years.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
I hope that helps. I mean,
yeah.
And so your original question was, what did we do to get married? We signed the papers.
You just followed the directions.
At that time, we had to drive from Kansas City, Missouri to Salt Lake City to get a wedding license. And then we drove to a town called Manti to an LDS temple to be married. And then we drove home.
So I think the nugget for you, Dawson, is just follow directions.
Well, I was just going to say, that's what I've been doing. Now, I had a coworker actually give me a list of like a couple, like a photographer and a barbecue place and DJ. And it was so cute. She's like, what is that? I was like, oh, just
a DJ?
Couple of things. No, not
oh, okay.
DJ. Like, what is this list? And it was like, oh, it's just a couple ideas that we could look at, kind of get a better idea, get more options out there. And then she didn't seem too enthused.
Yeah.
But I think it's stressful. I think it's a lot of work, and I'm super excited though, and I think marriage is being lost in America. I think they're working really hard to destroy the family unit. And so
it does seem to be on the rise.
And so studies have shown that used to be 50% of marriages are failing. Now it's rising like 54% now. I did look up 70% of the women instigate the divorce. Now that's 90. And
see, I was going off the
crazy.
statistic I heard was 80% of women, or 80% of divorces are initiated by women.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's 90.
So it's 90 now. Okay.
Which is weird because all of us, we actually initiated the divorce.
Well, my second one I initiated. Earlier you were saying that you initiated all the 2 previous marriages, right?
The 2 previous marriages I had, and one of them was really short, were all that
How short is short?
Less than 30 days.
Wow, that's short.
A couple hours.
We got married civilly in Jackson County, moved to Mesa, Arizona, where I wanted to go to college. And we were there less than 24 hours. And she said, I'm done. I want to go home. I said, fine. What? So we moved home, and she moved back in with her parents, and I moved back in with my father and grandmother.
So you moved to Arizona in August. And she's like, oh, screw this. It's just too hot.
Too hot here.
Wow.
Which honestly, Arizona is gorgeous. I love it.
It was one of those arrangements where someone said, this is something you should do. And I didn't go, why?
Mm-hmm.
And the why was, what's the purpose? And had I answered that question, I probably wouldn't have got married the first time.
Yeah.
I would have gotten married the second time. She was really good looking. And she sang at my baptism when I was 16. So I thought there was some magnetism there that it would work. It didn't work either.
It's because you
We
went
don't
for
need
looks.
to tell why it didn't work. But,
You went for looks versus the whole package.
but maybe the really thing to say is, you talk about all the list of things you're doing for your wedding. Maybe the conversation to have is, what's the purpose? What do you want to accomplish in being married?
I've actually asked her that. And a lot of her first response usually, well, it's my first, you got yours. And I go, oh, I really didn't though. Because mine was almost like yours. It's like we felt like we had to get her get off the pot. A lot of people don't realize I actually left the church at my wedding because I was left in the basement for almost 5 hours by myself. And I actually left, got a beer, walked through Pottery Barn. I think I bought a candle. And then as I walk in, that's when they came down. Like I happened to walk in the back door and they were coming down the stairs. So they had no idea I was gone. And then
that should have been such a clue.
But it was one of those things, and like, Kiri got upset when I said this earlier. It's like we really thought about it and we sat down and, to our last episode, managing expectations, I just wanted to be a dad because I didn't have one. And so that was the path to being a dad. It's like you get married and then you go there. Like I really didn't care about my career because my whole focus was just like be a dad. And so I think if what we failed at is sitting down, seeing if we actually aligned with our goals, because I would have learned that she only cared about success, her career. That's what she wanted. I don't know if she really wanted a family. I don't know. And I think that's the problem where with Sid, it's like we're sitting down, talking about everything, getting all the plans, figuring out what we want to do. And, God's going to throw curveballs at you.
Yeah.
And that's how you adjust. And so, like, our relationships had a lot of curveballs in the beginning already, and we've handled them great. And I'm actually excited for this wedding. And so I'm excited. I want to give her what she wants because a lot of girls, they dream of that their whole life is that perfect, beautiful wedding. And I think the only message I've tried to tell her is like, I don't give a shit about all that stuff. I just care about you. And I just want to marry you. So whatever you want, that's fine. We'll get it done. We'll figure it out. But as long as you're there and I'm there, that's all that matters.
Yeah. No tears. No tears. Can I have a Kleenex, please?
Yes.
So, this is just a reflection.
Yeah.
When you first met the girl that you're going to marry, you were probably really impressed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, she came around the corner and I was just like, holy crap, she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And then she opened her mouth and it was like, and she's really adorable too. And I made her laugh and then just kind of went on her way. I was just like, all right, cool. And then I got a text saying, hey, I hope you don't mind. I got your number from our friend. And I was like, hell no, I don't mind because I wasn't brave enough to ask you. I didn't think you'd say yes if I asked.
Afraid that she'd say no.
Yeah.
Because the competition is out there. And so one of the things that...
And age difference.
That could be there. But one of the things that I think that all of us should do is remember the day that we met our wife, if that was a good day. I mean, the day I met my current wife was not the greatest day in the world. We'll share that later. But it's like if you were going to go trapping for an animal you wanted to catch, you set the right trap, and then when you catch it, you accomplish what you wanted. Every day of your life, you should reset the trap. You want to date that person so that they know how important they are. The first day you take them for granted, it starts to create a separation, and you may be able to bring it back together.
Yeah.
But the greatest way to never let it happen is for you to never stop thinking, I'm going to set the trap again. And so one of the things I did was, thank goodness someone created Post-it notes. I just wrote little Post-it notes and I put them on the mirror and said, guess what? I still love you. And I just stuck them everywhere. I put them on her clothes. I put them on the mirror in the bathroom. I put them all over the house.
She's tripping through the house because there's so many Post-it notes everywhere.
She comes home with these Post-it notes all over. What do these mean? But it sent a message that if you're willing to make that kind of a commitment to send the message, the person that receives it cares.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we talked, kind of about that in the past, and that's kind of one of the things I've learned from my marriages. It's like, what, if you don't go back and figure out why your marriage failed and you're part of that, then you're not learning. You're going to make that same mistake going forward in the next one.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I've done so much reflection. And it's like, okay, did I you're 20, you get butt hurt really easily. You get offended. You want to defend yourself. And so I've learned, being humble and being grateful. And like you said, tell them those things. And so, like, we leave little notes all the time. Like, I'll make her lunch. She'll make mine, It's like, there's no chore talk. We just take care of it, It's like, and I think she understands that marriage is, 100%. It's not like 50-50. It adjusts according to the kind of the day, and you have your back
needs.
And,
I think.
And so it's nice to hear that, after 51 years, that was one of the things that you did. And I'm like, sweet, I'm doing it. I'm like,
well, you might try putting the Post-it note in the PB&J, and that way when she eats it, it makes a real impression.
She's
and
like,
that would definitely make an impression.
But one of the things I've learned also is we never marry up. We marry equal. If we marry up, it means that we came in the underdog, and now that we have to step it up just to be on the same plane.
Yeah.
And you marry equal. You're not the same. Doesn't matter who you marry. You're not the same.
Yeah.
But it's like the two of you make a cohesive unit, however the two connect, and you make it work every day. Never give up. Never accept defeat. Never let someone else tell you you can't make it work.
Yeah, my parents are a great example of that. They've been married for, like 60 some odd years at this point. They have been through so many ups and downs, but they've done it together. Mm-hmm. And they've had, not like their relationship has been perfect the entire time, because every relationship has not just ups and downs as far as life throwing stuff at you, but ups and downs in the relationship.
Right.
And I jokingly, but I actually kind of mean it too, I've told my parents that my dad ruined us boys for marriage because my dad found such an incredible woman, but they have been a team this entire time.
Yeah. And I think that's where people fails. They think it's, him versus her against the world, when it's like we said, it's you guys together against the world.
Yeah.
And together you can do it. That's why you see these power couples, that can achieve anything, because the man makes the woman makes the man, and it's just, they both just attack together.
Yeah. So David, let me ask you this. In your 51 years of marriage, 51 years, right? 51 years of marriage. I'm assuming that you and your wife have faced challenges together.
Some I can share and some I can't.
That's fair. So when those challenges come, without getting into details that you're not comfortable with, of course, but like when some of those challenges have happened, what do you think is the most important, what's the word I'm trying to think of? The most important principle that you have found yourself following to continue the marriage through, to survive it and to thrive after?
Well, whether it's the right answer or not, it's the answer that's in my heart.
Then that's the right answer.
The driving force behind my relationship with my wife was when I looked into her father's face and he said, "You have to promise me that you will defend and protect and provide for my daughter." And I knew he wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
He was dead serious. He didn't have a gun sitting on the porch.
But he might as well have.
He might as well have had. And his voice wasn't like overpowering, like, some loudmouth politician. I guess they're not all loudmouth politicians, but
might as well be.
But I took it serious, and probably the current, like in the last week, example of how that worked for me was we both have a mannerism for how we speak.
Mm-hmm.
She's very to the point. She doesn't like to waste time. She gets to where she wants to say something and she's done. And I have to paint the picture and I have to do this. And are we going to do it this way? And there's 40 options. And she says, no, there's one option. And we're done. And so I said something, and
Was it yes, ma'am?
it was not. Yes, ma'am. See, I should have learned that lesson. But I made a comment, and without realizing it, I could see in her face that she had become defensive because of what I said.
Mm.
And I could have done what I've done for 40 years and walked away and go, grow up on your own. I walked away from it. On purpose, I walked away from it and I said, what did you just do? And I realized that it's like if you're running a race and you fall and you want to win, what's the next thing to do?
Get up.
Get up.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you need to go back into that room and get up, and you need to tell her what you meant to say and apologize. And I went in and I said, I screwed up, and you're really important to me. And she didn't believe me. But, and if I can share this,
Please.
She's recovering from neurosurgery where she had a tumor on her pituitary gland.
Mm.
And after her second surgery and after she healed, she still had these headaches that are called cluster headaches that are from where they did the surgery.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, the doctors have all of the fantastic medicines and pills that they want. They didn't work. And she found that if she ate a little bit of this local made custard ice cream called honey lavender ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
and she didn't have to eat a lot of it. She could just eat like a quarter cup or an eighth of a cup. The pain went away. So for the last 3 years, I went to the one scoop shop instead of the pharmacy because it made my wife feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so after I had like thrown the monkey wrench into the machine and the machine's now broke,
Mm-hmm.
I thought, what time is it? It's 5 minutes to 9. Can I get to the
The
ice cream shop quick enough? And can I buy a pint of honey lavender and get home? And I get there and it says Monday closed. And I'm going, crap, I can't even buy the ice cream. So I went home, and now it's 10 minutes after 9, and I said, you need to know that I went to buy you honey lavender ice cream because you're more important than what I said. And she looked at me and smiled. And that's all it took.
That's
And
beautiful.
we knew that we were more important than words.
Mm-hmm.
And we were more important than an event. And that we were important to each other. And just to kind of round that
Yeah.
up, 2 days later, I thought, well, I better go buy the ice cream. So I went, and they were still closed. And I thought, maybe they've gone out of business. So yesterday, in the middle of the day, I go by, and they're open, and I go in. And I
About like 5 gallons of
I didn't
honey
know.
ice
Whole
cream.
gallon.
I bought a quart. And I took it to the office and I said, this is for you. And we put it in the office freezer. So we do things to make the wheels of life work.
Yeah.
And we get to each choose. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what you choose to do next may be driving a fast car.
I've got a pretty quick little car.
Okay. I mean, and so we
That may or
choose-
may not exceed the speed limit at times. Allegedly.
I can't. My wife once owned a Thunderbird. I can't tell you how fast she drove, but the Charger she passed, all he could see was her taillights.
That's awesome.
But so we choose what to do to make things richer
Mm-hmm.
by how we treat them instead of being arrogant or egotistical or selfish. And this is all about me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a balance also. I feel like maybe you've let me talk too much. So if at
No,
some
no.
point you go this, I'll get this. But if you're just getting ready to get married, there's more than flowers and chocolates and food or ribs. There's a balance of money. And if the emotions and the money and everything is not in balance, if one of those is out of balance, it'll throw the other piece off.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm trying to tell you what to do, but it's, if you want to win, you find the formula that works for you so that all those pieces are in balance. And then be true to who you are.
Yeah. And I think that's the key, is finding a balance to where you're not killing each other, to where it's so stressful that the day's not exciting anymore. It's more of a burden. And I think with just both our personalities and who we are, that we won't let that happen.
Well, and one of the things that it does for me is it makes me think about like my first marriage to my kid's mom. I tried to do that. And that was one of the really hard things. Is like I sacrificed a lot. I mean, the best I knew how to do with the knowledge that I had. Right. Made plenty of mistakes. Looking back, there are plenty more mistakes that I recognize. But it's one of those struggles where it's like, okay, well, you try to do that, and then the person chooses something different, and that was really difficult. Where I very, very much loved my kid's mom, and was willing to do pretty much anything for her. Did the little things, and then towards the end, I'm not sure. Even all these these years later, I'm not sure what ultimately changed, because we'd gone through so many years and so many experiences and so many challenges, and successfully came through them. And then it's like there was this switch that flipped.
Well, I think honestly, I can look at pretty much all the people that I know that have failed marriages. It always goes like they fell out of love. Well, it's funny how women can fall out of love really easily. and
Seems to be like that.
And it's
yeah.
not really that they're falling out of love. I think they just don't feel appreciated or wanted or desired. Just like men don't feel wanted, respected, or desired. Things happen. And I think I learned just like the little stick 'em notes and like little thank yous and, doing the small things that keep that going. Like when you walk by, giving her a hug from behind, like I can't tell you how many times we walk by in a room and our hands touch. We just do a quick little squeeze.
Yeah.
Every time we pass, almost.
Yeah.
There's times that I just stop her and kiss her in the hall for no reason. And she's like, what's that for? It's like, because I love you, and I love that, you bring up that point that with the Pierce Bronson thing that our producer pointed up. I do feel like I have to be worthy of her love, but I want to prove to her that I am worthy of her love, because she's awesome and she's amazing and she's, just beyond words.
Yeah.
And it is so hard to a lot of therapists, and you can agree or not, that they usually tell you, well, why did you fall in love with them? Start dating again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you just said. It's like, not the trap, but like you say, you set that trap, but you're saying, do the stuff that got you guys to be together.
Yeah.
Continue the dating, continue the small things, the courtship, basically. Continue the courtship of your spouse. Make them feel loved, wanted, desired. And that's where people go wrong. And I think that's what's wrong with Gen X, millennials, zennials, all those guys that just, the divorce is going up. They're not seeing value in marriage because they're also being taught that marriage doesn't matter.
Yeah, seems like it.
And I think that's where the failure is, because they don't manage their expectations. They come in thinking, okay, it's going to be perfect year one. We're going to work. We'll get a house. We'll do all this stuff, instead of sitting down and go, okay, we might get a house with this economy. Who knows? We might not. How do we manage that kind of thing?
One of the pieces that's, I think we haven't talked about in this conversation is a person's agency. Like they choose.
Yeah.
So when you meet your wife to be, she either chose to like you or chose not to.
All right.
And she may have chose you because you're good looking, or you have money, or you fast car, but something set her in the direction.
So I don't have any of those. So
right.
Something set her off, and her agency that she exercises. I want to connect with that guy. Well, what's the second day and the third day and the third year? Is that agency still there? It is. and is she still attracted to you? And to relate to my tenure of being married was, I was afraid that she would never talk to me when I first met her. And she knows this. She looked so far down her nose there was an echo when she said my name. And I deserved it. I didn't look like the guy that she wanted to be associated with. My jeans looked like the American flag. I had a Mickey Mouse t-shirt on. I had long hair. I was studying for a chemistry exam. And she said, "Who are you?" And I thought, I just didn't score. And I walked away from it. I didn't think she was a 10. If you know what the 10
Oh, yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 10 is specific to the individual, but yes.
It's a unicorn.
Yes.
I mean, intellectual, attractive, communicative, had a wink. She had all, and she was a 10. And I thought,
That's what I'm missing is the wink.
It is.
Please keep going.
It is what you're missing.
Well, she didn't wink at me. And it took a couple of days for someone telling me you should call and talk to her, because I'd been married and divorced twice, and I wasn't looking. I decided that I was going to be the bachelor the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what marriage meant and what it could be. Maybe that happened because I came from a real broken marriage.
Yeah.
As a kid. My mother died when I was 12.
Hmm.
My father fell in love with her, fell out of love with her, fell in love, but while he was in that transition, she put him in jail. So, you can imagine she married a really tough
Yeah.
guy. And then they fell in love, and then she got really sick, and then she died. And he was, to hear him tell his story, he was from generations of ridge runners and moonshiners.
Oh, okay.
He probably didn't go past the 7th grade in education.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't serve in the military during World War II. He stayed stateside and made ammunition. That was his job rather
Gotcha.
than serve. And he wasn't family oriented. I mean, when I was a young one, people would come in our house and say to my mom and dad, "Who are your favorites?" And they go, "Our daughters." And I'm going, 3 sisters and 1 brother. Does that make me the odd man out? I'm done. And so it wasn't that there wasn't love in the family. It's just they didn't come together to create that kind of a unity.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I found later that families could be stronger, then I wanted something totally different.
Yeah.
And then I go, how do I go from that broken picture to different? And so our key was, and I'm not telling you what to do. You have your own agency, okay?
Yeah.
Find someone to model your life after. But be real careful who you pick, because once you pick the person you model them, you give yourself permission to do all the wrong things that they do as well as all the right things. But find someone to model. And then because you care, you'll model yourself to be that person. And if that person shows respect and love and caring and understanding and compassion, and you're willing to give up everything that you think you want for that person, you'll score success. You'll win.
I mean, I just checked all those boxes in my head.
We're done.
Yeah, right? No, I think that's great counsel. Great counsel. And I like that you said, because we talked about this in another episode where, you're willing to give up everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you're required to, because I think in a really good, healthy marriage, your spouse does not demand you give up who you are, but that commitment to each other, that you would be willing to give up anything for each other. That's one of the things that my parents are a great example of is they have sacrificed a lot together. They have sacrificed a lot for each other. At this point, my dad basically will my mom can have whatever she wants.
Good man.
Because,
Yeah.
well, but part of it
He
is
learned.
he also, like, she won't be frivolous. She won't buy a fancy car or expensive clothes or go,
Yeah.
because she's so practical and she's so mindful. If she wants it, it's hers. Because if she's going to ask for it, she's thought about it. It's, something that she's planned on. She knows that this is something that is within, the budget that they have, all this other stuff where it's like it's something that is going to be beneficial and she wants it.
Yeah.
And my dad is has recognized that, if she's asking for something, then it's important and he needs to
Make sure it happens.
Yeah.
He's the one to make sure it happens.
Yeah. There's so many times where my dad will talk about an idea. I'm like him, a lot of ideas. He'll talk about these ideas and I'll just see my mom just go like this.
Not today.
Because she knows that, it's just an idea. When he's looking into it more, then she'll give her opinion. And, sometimes she'll go along with it, but most of the time, my dad realizes that it's a mistake. There's like a car that he wanted to like restore a car or something like that. And they went and looked at an axle they were on a trip. And so he was going to pick up this axle for this car. And it was just rusty and pitted and all that kind of stuff. And he just went, no, I guess I'm not I'm not building that car. And she knew that he would get to that point, but yeah. So that idea of the willingness to give, the willingness to sacrifice.
One of the two needs to be a dreamer. They can both be.
Yeah.
But one needs to be a dreamer. And you need to have a dream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently involved in some coaching classes where they ask what your dream is, because the bigger your dream, the more the motivation to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be a dreamer. And in our relationship, I'm the dreamer. The one that keeps the cars between the white lines is my wife. And she says, you're a little out of bounds, bring it back.
Yeah.
Or maybe sometimes she doesn't say it quite as kind as that. But I get the message that I've veered a little too far to the left or the right, and I need to.
She makes sure that you get the message.
Well, she's never sat on the porch with a gun and said, "I'm the one that makes the rules."
Right.
But she understands how important it is to make the right decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be only fair to share that, because there's been a comment made once or twice that maybe my tenure of being married 51 years gives me some insight to what to do. I'd be very careful if anyone said, I want to model myself after what David did, because the roller coaster that I've gone through in 51 years hasn't always been a fun ride.
Yeah.
And I'm not embarrassed to say that there was a time when there was some pressure to just call it quits and be divorced. And I thought, over my dead body, and I didn't die.
And she said, we can make that happen.
He did get that insurance policy.
Well, we never activated that plan. But it wasn't fun, and it wasn't easy, and rebuilding relationships is a challenge, and it takes commitment, and sometimes it takes having a plan, because you can't just walk into it and know the 5 things to say and do and have it be successful. The first thing you may say may blow up, and then you go, oh crap, how do I save it now?
Yeah.
And so earlier there was some comment about the Gen X's and millennials. This is from a guy who doesn't know what it means to be a baby boomer. I think there's a generation that grew up that they could microwave food in 30 seconds, or they could change cars every year or two, and that people became that interchangeable that if they didn't like what they were doing, you just swapped them out. What's the trade-in policy? Can I get
right?
Yeah, and honestly, I went to Avila, which is a Christian school, and even in there, you could see the conversation wasn't, fighting for the family unit. It was like, well, don't waste your time if it's not working. Just move forward, move on.
Yeah.
And they were teaching that in human development, and I was just like, no, you don't. Just I spoke up because I was the only married guy in the class, and I was like, no, you don't fucking just move on. I go, people don't realize there's ups and downs, but sometimes those downs are like 5 years. It's not a month or two. It's a hard time, and the reason it's a hard time, but once you get through those hard times, you're even stronger because you got through it together. And a lot of people don't realize giving up sometimes is worse because the backlash, the crap you have to go through, the pain, the suffering, and the damage that it can cause sometimes. And it's just sad that you are seeing that taught in colleges, that the family unit is really nothing. It's just fine. Even the Bible, we're not meant to be with one person forever. We're animals. We're humanistic. Like we should be allowed to just go. And I go, what's the fucking 70s was about?
Interesting. You would just mention the Bible in your conversation.
Yeah.
And when I think about a story in the Bible, whether you want to believe it or it's just fiction, when you think about Adam and Eve, and they were the first two, there was a no return policy.
Yeah, you're screwed.
This is your girl, and you're going to make it work.
I think it makes that point a lot more important when it's God that says, I made her for you. No returns.
I mean, this is a fun conversation, so we don't want it to go down the wrong road. But, when I met my wife, my current wife, she was dressed to kill.
Yeah.
When Adam met
your
his
Mickey
wife,
Mouse shirt,
she wasn't dressed at all.
Well, and I see all these memes on Instagram, and it's like guys, like when my wife comes out of the shower, they're just like, and I'm like, shit, that's me. I'm like that too. I'm like,
I had this
I'm always in awe.
yesterday morning, knowing that I was coming here.
Yeah.
That I got out of the shower. When you get out of the shower, there's just you and the towel. And I looked in the mirror and I'm going, and who are you? And what are you going to do good today?
Yeah.
And because I have things I care about each day to do good, I knew the next thing to do was I need to get dressed, because I need to hide me and get to being about who I want to be.
Like, run away.
Yeah, that is funny.
So why do you think the younger generation don't value marriage anymore, or don't see the value of it, really? And what is the value of marriage?
Wow, I'm not sure that anyone knows how to answer that question.
I mean, medically, I can tell you people tend to live 15 to 20 years longer when you have a partner. Suicide with men over 60 is insanely high.
Mm-hmm.
As a nurse, I see men that are single that have lost their spouse or whatever. Well, flat out, I'll tell you right now, usually when their love is so deep that most men die within 6 months of their spouse.
Yeah.
It takes a very strong, I don't say a man, very strong individual with support and group of people to get them out.
I'm planning to live a long
and I think that's the other mindset too.
Yeah. Me too.
And I see a lot of them give up. They don't go forward, but a lot of times it's because they don't have the family support to, hey, Dad, let's go fishing. Let's go out. Let's go to the movie. Like, get them out of the house to like cope with that loss, and get over that grieving period. And I find like that's why there's so many widows not widows. What's a guy?
Widower.
Okay.
Yeah.
At Home Depot and Lowe's, because they want to be surrounded by people and support. And that's why we have tons in the hospitals, volunteers.
Yeah.
It's like, I lost my wife a year ago, and I'm not going to just sit around staring at the walls from being reminded of everything.
I want to try and go back and answer your question.
Yeah,
because
sorry.
I said I couldn't answer it, and then I listened for a minute to what you were saying. I think the answer to why Gen X and millennials aren't who we think they should be is the result.
That's a good way to say that.
If you think about you, the person, and what influences you, the person. And so just immediately I think, well, first of all, the media, whether it's print media, television media, cinema media,
Social media.
social media, it, whether you like it or not, it all is an influence, and it's either an influence that's driving you to something or away from something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but if you get away from media, you can't get away from the influences of work harder, eat fast food, do this quick, finish this job now. It just seems like it's an unwritten script that just moves on its own momentum. And there isn't a place out there that says marriage should be a commitment to what it was intended to be, which was to create a loving family. And it doesn't
100%.
matter whether the family's 1 or 2 or 10. You make that commitment to that, and then you never turn your back on it. And we're never going to stop the media.
No.
We're never going to stop the wheels that turn in media, or the wheels that motivate culture, because I've lived outside of the United States and seen what cultures can do to shape people's lives, and it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really nice if we could change that.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think a lot of it, we talked about that too, the socialistic bubble we grow into and what makes us. It's like, I think the people that have a better grasp of the world and better understanding of it are the ones that travel a lot and do business in other countries. And so they see multiple cultures and they kind of value that. I think some of the best businessmen are the ones that have been to multiple countries and
Mhm.
had worked with multiple people and learned to respect those cultures
Right.
and kind of go from there. And so when you see in other countries the value of a marriage, some are still very strong and very profound, and because it's like family is still a huge thing and it grows. And I think the countries that are rotting away are the ones that are trying to, oh, you don't need family, fuck that, just be selfish.
I would agree with that. Yeah. One of the things that comes to mind is that with the younger generations that grew up with the internet, grew up with social media, grew up with the instant on demand to everything, and the exposure to, because we're exposed to so many different cultures now, especially here in the United States where we're a melting pot. We have a lot of cultures that come here and kind of blend together. But in spite of that exposure to culture, because I agree that I think, being able to recognize the value in other cultures, especially the family dynamics and the family values, can be a huge positive. But with these younger generations where they have access to that information, it's like it's not helping.
Yeah.
So why do you think that is?
So I'm impressed with the concept of information,
Mm-hmm.
and that there's a lot of information out there, but I think something that there's a presumption that I know what they know, and I don't know that. So this is kind of a statement.
Okay.
I'm not sure that once they got some education or knowledge, there was a desire to get more. It was maybe we have enough, and we have a phone, and we have all the tools, and we're done. And in some of my reading, like in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, he talks about different people and how intellectual and good they were and what they accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one part in the book where it talks about what's his first name, the original Ford that started the Henry Ford.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how he wasn't. They actually took him to court to prove how unintelligent he was, even though he was a rich man.
Yeah.
And they were asking him questions like, how many soldiers served in the war against Britain? He says, I don't care. And he finally got to the point where he said, I'm not answering any more of your questions, and I'm going to tell you what I do. He said, in my office, I have a row of buttons. And if there's something I want to know, I push the button, and the expert for that area comes in and tells me what I need to know.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't that he needed to know everything, but he was eager to learn and eager to hear what others knew specifically about whether it was the steel industry or the assembly line process or anything he was doing. And I think the point where a generation gives up learning, they give in to the influence of whatever's out there. And I think there's a real value into constantly getting up and saying, I need to learn something today. I mean, just because you graduate from high school doesn't make you done.
Yeah.
Or graduate from college.
Right.
Or just because you get married, you're done.
Yeah.
I think you still need to learn every day.
Yeah.
There's a concept called the Dunning-Kruger effect. I think I brought it up in a previous episode before too, but
I'm not
I
familiar
learned
with that.
I learned about it in this last year, and it was just, but that's what it kind of speaks to, the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is like Dr. Dunning, Dr. Kruger, which is why it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. They talk about that, how we learn and how we grow, and that sometimes, when we like let's say we go to college, we get a doctorate, and now we are the subject matter expert in whatever the thing is that we learned about.
Sure.
And then as time goes on, we learn that, there's still a whole lot more out there that I have to learn. And then as we grow beyond that point too, we realize we really don't know a whole lot. There's a whole lot of knowledge out there, and I only have a little bit. And so that's kind of like this progression. It becomes like this humble progression of recognizing what knowledge is, and that we need to learn and we need to grow from wherever we can get it. The Dunning-Kruger effect kind of refers to how people get stuck in that first stage where it's because they've learned a little bit and they think they know everything, they stop learning.
Yeah, and I think the powerful side of that too is ignorance.
Yeah. Well, and that is like the definition of ignorance. It's like, you know a little bit and you think you know everything, so you don't want to learn anymore. That choice not to learn is really true ignorance.
Because it's like little ignorance and humility.
Yeah.
And so I think people that want to learn and not just better themselves, but just like understand, Aristotle really pushed that. And it's like, this is what you think you know. Let me show you what you don't. And if you're willing to step outside your box and actually listen and hear it, and didn't tell you how to think. I'm just giving you information for you to think, be an informed thinker.
Yeah.
Einstein said we're only as smart as the information we know, but we're smarter with the information that we could know. and so it's one of those things that I've always told my kids, don't just because you read it, don't assume that that's how it is. There's so much more. I've also told my kids that if I'm not learning something new in healthcare, then I'm not actively trying to learn more because there's so much to learn, and you can learn every day. I learn something new.
And I think that applies in relationships too, about our partner, about our spouse, is that even though like you've been married for 51 years, my parents have been married for a little longer than that, they are still learning each other. They're still growing together.
In their heart, they still want to.
Yeah.
And
I think
so there's an information level, but there's a desire level. And Tom Ziegler in his book, I can't think of the name of the book now, but he talks about the three most powerful emotional powers in each human's life is faith, hope, and sex. And faith and hope are spiritual, and sex is physical.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was, I hope I get some sex, and I have the faith that I will.
I think that was a gross bastardization of what he's trying to say.
Yeah, it was.
Please continue.
How do I come back to that and say that the desire in your heart's not in the right place?
By saying the desire in your heart's not in the right place.
Fine. But I think arrogance is part of ignorance in that you think that you know enough.
Yeah.
And so what's not in your heart is a desire to learn more.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to wake up with telling yourself that you want the desire, not that you want to learn. If the desire's there, you'll find a way to learn.
Mm-hmm.
One of the stories that my current wife, Terry, we didn't give her name earlier, so I'm glad that I get to sneak that in. But one of the things the story she tells about me when we started the business was I would go out as an order to pay the bills. We would sell anything that we could sell, even if it wasn't our portfolio of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
She would tell the story that I came back with an order and said, "Can we do this? Or how do we do this?" And she'd say, "Well, you sold it. Go find out." And so then I would have to go find out something that we hadn't done before that we were going to do,
Yeah.
so that customer's order was taken care of.
Yeah.
And it was all driven by a desire to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Well, when the desire is, and if the focus of this conversation is, how do you get to be married 51 years?
Right.
I mean, you may not live to be 51 more years, but anyway,
I'd like to.
but you want to get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So where's the desire in your heart to put your feet on the right path to get to that? And you're already on the right path. We think he's
I needed to hear that. Thank you.
but you need to always be teachable or coachable and have the right desire in your heart.
Yeah.
You don't have to always think about that Adam and Eve analogy I gave, because that doesn't work. But I think it's important that we re-engineer something different. The doing something unexpected to someone you love creates something they get really excited about.
Yeah.
Like if, let's say you never bought her flowers and you know she likes them. If all of a sudden you show up with flowers, you score.
Yeah.
Or if she likes dark chocolate. But you have to be thinking outside the box so that you know what the options are.
Right.
And then you need to be willing to look into your resources and say, can I make this happen? And if I can, will I make it happen? One of the funnest stories, if my life is the model to look at, one of the funnest stories is for me to tell you that my family never went on vacations.
Really?
Yeah. We went to Lake Donovan, if you know where that is in
I don't.
Missouri. Most people don't. It's a camping resort.
Okay.
That's where my family went for one vacation or two. My wife's family went because he was an engineer and had a really nice job. Every year they went to a different state on a vacation. So she thought when she married me, they were going on vacations. I didn't know what vacations were.
Yeah.
And so we didn't do them. And after being married 35 years, she got an invite to go to Alaska by someone in our extended family that lived in Homer and said, if you come up to Alaska, I'll be your tour guide. Well, all I knew about Alaska was what I'd seen in the media. We talked about the influence of the media, right?
Yeah.
It's cold.
Polar bears, cold, icebergs. I said, hell no, I'm not going up in that cold. She looked at me across the room, in a room we were in Idaho, and she says, I'm going to Alaska. Either pack your bags and go with me or stay home. And I said, we'll talk about it. And she says, we're done talking.
Discussion's over.
I'm going.
We're going. And I thought, and inside the little guy said, oh crap.
Yeah.
You better
Like,
suck
how
it
many
up
days should I pack for?
and go. And so I said, okay, we're going. It turned out to be one of the most glorious experiences I've done in my whole life. We took almost 2 years to plan out how to go and to take Alaska has a freeway of ships that go up the coast at about 8 miles an hour and back, like our ATA buses in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And like if you live in one of the cities along the way and you want passage to go, you don't have to rent a room on the boat. You can just take your tent, put your tent on the top floor, and that's where you sleep. You go down and eat in the galley, go up on the top floor.
That's kind of
That's
cool.
cool.
It was, and we
Yeah.
went on that boat up the shore and then got off at some place, and then we flew to Anchorage. And, you know, I ate caribou on a stick, whatever that's called. Shish
Kebabs.
kebab.
Yeah.
Caribou kebab.
And the night we were eating in the restaurant, we called one of our grandchildren to tell them that we were having fun. And somehow it got in the conversation that I was eating one of the reindeer. I became the evil guy in the room.
evil
because
guy.
The
we
reindeer
killed-
karabob.
I killed one of the reindeer to have this caribou shish kebab.
Dasher wasn't
hilarious.
that dashing.
But
That's
you know,
hilarious.
But he
the,
tasted
the
good.
point is, sometimes you don't venture into something new because you see it, but you need to experience it because it's something you haven't done. And like going on that vacation to Alaska was just
Yeah.
Yeah.
a once in a lifetime opportunity. I tried to buy land.
While you were up there?
Yeah.
That's
She
awesome.
said, we're not doing that. And we didn't.
Again, you said, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I recognized my boundaries.
Yeah. So with if you were to give I don't know, like a piece of advice
Okay.
to not necessarily to our generation, well, ours too, but like younger generations, but especially the younger kids that are, getting to that age or getting to that point where they're thinking about marriage and all that. Is there a particular piece of advice that you think would be a great foundation for them to have
I
so
do.
that they can
I do. It's kind of a two-part thing.
go for it?
One is if you have a religious affiliation, is never go to bed angry before you've said prayer with your wife together. There's something that happens.
Might be an angry prayer, but you say a prayer.
Don't say an angry prayer because there's nobody listening to angry prayers. Anyway, the point is, in one of the books I read, it's Napoleon Hill's. He talks about intelligence. Like there's an intelligence that controls the universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's listening. When you, whether you're sitting or kneeling or sitting on the bed, when you pray and you're pouring out your heart, you're inviting that intelligence to be a part of what you're doing. And so it's like a communication opportunity. And the second part of that is, and this is so hard to do, I can't tell you I did it 100%. Never go to bed angry with your wife. If you have to go and sleep on the sofa, go sleep on the sofa. Never go to bed angry. Find a way to say, we got off on the wrong foot. You don't want to say, you were wrong, because that just drives it down the road.
Yeah.
farther.
Right.
That doesn't help.
Right.
But you say, there was a great reason we got married, and part of it was that we can communicate both verbally and emotionally. And if we didn't do what we wanted to do, and I didn't want broccoli and you did, but you cooked it so I had to eat it and it didn't go over well, then we need to talk about maybe we buy beans
Broccolini.
Yeah. Right.
or put cheese on it. But
Something.
we find a different way so that we don't emotionally get driven into or dragged into going to bed angry. Because guess what happens? What do you do when you wake up?
You start again.
You're still angry.
Wake up where you left off.
Yeah.
And that would be the advice, was if you want it to succeed, you need to commit to some ground rules. And there's another ground rule, okay? Because
Go for it.
I can't get away from money. If you can't agree on a budget or what you spend money on, then you need to put the brakes on, and you need to seriously talk about where the two of you are, whether it's a company or husband and wife or father and son.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't move forward and spend the wrong money.
Yeah.
And the first thing that you do is you offset the person that you love because they don't care. And so whether you realize it or not, you just blew it up. You walked through a minefield and stepped in every one of the mines.
That's one of the big things that really not ended, but it was a big problem in both my marriages.
It comes with no warning signs.
Yeah.
You think you're doing everything right, putting gas in the car, having the right car, buying the insurance, putting the groceries on the table, getting kicks or no tricks for the kids in the morning if they want colored food.
Tricks and tricks.
But I want to repeat that. There needs to be some guidelines that you will follow even when you don't want to.
Yeah. I like that a lot. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting an old guy be a part of your
No,
conversation.
it's awesome because like being in healthcare, I see couples all the time in 60, 50s years of marriage, and they've all said keep doing the small things for them.
Mm-hmm.
Act like the date's the first date every time, and then never go to bed angry, and then make sure you're on the same page with money. And it's like literally just gave us all those same things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I guess if people say it enough, we should probably listen to it, right?
Yeah. And I think joke, laugh, and just embrace each other, tease each other. Don't make fun of each other, but like tease each other on the things that
Yeah.
or.
I
And
think
it's just it's cool when you finally find that. Like I honestly was to the point where I just didn't think I was gonna. I was ready to have. Hey, you want to move in together and just have a.
yeah.
You were going to move in with him?
No, we're just build a compound
Right.
with like tiny homes and just like we'll have me, Jason, and him, and any other guy that wants to hang out, have the tiny home.
Well, and I think one of the things that's important too, though, is like all the great advice, we can follow all the great advice, but if it's a one-sided effort,
Yeah,
it
Doesn't
can't.
work.
It won't work.
It won't work. It has to be both partners participating.
Both partners have to exercise their agency so that it works
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I think there's a piece missing in this conversation, so I'm just going to share it.
Go for it.
We've talked about guidelines, and we've talked about what we want to do and continue to do the good things. So this is my chance to ask a question.
Okay.
So tell me what's on the mirror in your bathroom.
A little bit of water splatter from
Okay.
washing my hands and
Sure.
stuff.
And a reflection of you.
Yeah.
Okay. And is what
Dang.
you
I usually keep the lights out, so I'm a solid
So you
10
won't
all the
see it.
time.
So I'm going to tell you what's on my mirror.
Okay.
No, I used to have my monthly goals on my mirror.
Okay.
And then the one saying I always like to do is like, anyone you meet, leave them better for I'd met you,
Sure.
kind of thing. And so I think that's in my heart. That's truly what as a nurse, that's literally, I want to walk away having that patient feel like they had a good day today. They got better slightly.
Sure.
They advanced in their care to get closer to home. And
Yeah.
And the ones that struggle with that, I want them to feel that they're not alone, that they're getting through this, that it's hard, and we can get through it. And so I think that honestly what drives me, as a nurse, it's not the money.
Yeah. So what's on your mirror?
Well, so I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
But if you have a Post-it note, you want to write on it, on a Post-it note, and put it on your mirror so you see it tomorrow morning. Who you want to be. Because who you want to be, and goals are good, and I think those, because I have those too, but who you want to be, and when you say that to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
every morning I go into my mirror and I'm David Martin. I am a passionate, caring, friendly, loving. I can't give you all of them, but it goes down a whole paragraph of things, and I'm not all of those. But I get that every day I read that, it tells my subconscious that's who I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a lot
And
of
then
truth
my
to that.
subconscious kind of goes into overdrive and it says, I can make him this. I can make him this. But with the days when I don't read it, it doesn't get the reinforcement. And 51 years later of not reading it, guess who's not listening?
Yeah.
My subconscious says, I know what to do. I'm going to screw up your life.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe when your question, as simple as it may have sounded, what would you tell them to do?
Mm-hmm.
Would be, you need to be in control of your life.
Mm.
And it may sound real tacky to say, put a Post-it up on your mirror that says, I'm going to be good
It's
today.
not tacky. It's true.
No, it's
I'm going to be good today. I'm
Yeah.
going to be kind.
it's
Yeah.
I'm
setting
going to
my
brush
life.
my teeth and shave. No, you don't have to shave. I do. But you need to be your very best today.
I mean,
And
there's
in your situation, being your very best means that anyone that gets your care knows that you care they want to live.
Yeah.
You're not there to say, hey, I want to help you die.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes lost on people.
Yeah,
It's like, no,
that's great advice. I think it's a great way to end the episode.
and, the funny thing is when people say, I just want to die, I'm like, no, dude, that's so much paperwork.
It's like the military.
So, but now you do have to call me in a week and report. I want to know that you did what we said.
Accountability. Got it.
Accountability is important. And so
I do that with my clients, so I'll follow through.
But if you choose someone to be married to, think about, aren't they the accountability partner?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, she holds me accountable.
That's great. That's
really
great.
well.
David, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a treat.
This was the love of my life, getting to share what...
The podcast is the love of his life. That's great.
If only my wife could see it.
Well, hopefully she does.
She will.
Cool.
She will. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for letting me be a part of a wonderful experience.
It's our pleasure.
All right, guys.
Thank you, David.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Stay classy, Kansas City. Good job, James.
Thanks, Dawson. You too.
Did great. You know what?
So good.
Thanks for joining us and giving us your time. It's very precious. We appreciate you guys. Hit that like and subscribe button. Ding that little bell so you get notifications when we have new drops every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
And check out our dad jokes.
Yep. Make sure you comment. Let us know how we're doing.
Appreciate it.